The Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association presents Matinee Madness. Matinee Madness is presented by the Ohio State University Veterinary Medical Center, El Dorado Scioto Downs, and Wire to Wire Wealth. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Matinee Madness. Today we kick it all off from the Mercer County Fairgrounds in Celina. It's now officially county fair racing season. I'm Frank Froz along with Susan Schroeder. And Susan, today is like Christmas for some of these trainers, isn't it?
It is. You can tell the excitement back in the barn, even though there's no money, no times, anything like that, but they want to see what their colts can do with competition. 53rd Matinee here at Celina to kick it all off. The place where Rambling Willie got his start, we always talk about, that he started out here, didn't do very well, but went on to be a super horse just like some of these colts will.
Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have the first of 16 races today from the Mercer County Fairgrounds right after this.
Racing is back at El Dorado Scioto Downs. Catch the excitement all summer long. Live racing every Tuesday through Saturday nights. First race post time is 5:45. Mark your calendar to see the future stars with a $150,000 Next Generation July 6th. Thrilling harness racing at El Dorado Scioto Downs. One track, 90 racing days, 100% action. Horse players can earn points with the new Caesars Reward Program. El Dorado Scioto Downs. Racing returns May 9th.
At Ohio State's Galbraith Equine Center, our veterinary champions are here for your champions 24/7, 365 days a year. Our expert team of boarded surgeons, sports medicine and rehabilitation specialists, together with veterinary cardiologists, internal medicine and ophthalmologists, make our hospital your best resource for all sport horse performance issues. The Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center's Galbraith Equine Hospital. Call us today at 614-292-6661.
Joined now by Rusty Voorhees, the president of the Mercer County Horsemen's Association. And Rusty, you guys always like to host this first matinee, don't you?
Well, we like to kick off Matinee Madness, that's for sure, Frank. Yeah, I'm saying that. I'd like to thank you, OHHA, for coming down here and broadcasting. I know it does help promote harness racing, and we've been doing it here for, this is the 53rd year, I believe. It should be 54th, but we've missed 1 year for COVID. So,
well, this is really the official kickoff of our county fair racing season, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much so. And you can see it. These 2-year-olds back here behind us, they're looking pretty sporty. They've went some nice miles today. So yeah, they're not far off. We've had a good winter. I think there's only like one really cold, bad week last winter, so it's been pretty good.
Like I told Susan early on, this is kind of like Christmas for some of these owners and trainers. You can see what you have.
Yeah, exactly. I see some faces I haven't seen since last year, probably maybe at the Dayton Fair, maybe, or Delaware. So it's nice to see everybody back again.
Well, you've got some big things going on here at the Mercer County Fairgrounds. You've got a new building to start with. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, the building here in the West Field, in fact, they just have it paved now, the parking lot. It's called the Market Hall. And basically what it was the county garage, basically a big storage building of sorts, and they moved to a new site out west of Celina a couple years ago, and it just sat there basically empty. So the fair board here took it over and remodeled it, and I wish there were some pictures. Probably can find pictures on Facebook on Mercer County Fair, but it's just gorgeous, and they have big events in there, and it is the first phase of, there's going to be another building to the west of it that you can see the footprint where it's at, but it's going to be a big building like for events of shows, you know, animal shows and that sort of thing. It's a $12 million project.
Well, that isn't the only new thing you have here on the fairgrounds. You got a new big wooden Yeti out there. And when I say big, we're talking about 20 feet tall.
Yes, that's something to behold. They did that, I don't know what the exact date, I'm just going to say Eclipse Week, because they had the solar eclipse and they had a big goings on here. And a lot of people camped here, and there's a company that came in and built it in 6 days, and it was something to see, and there's only a few of those in the United States, and I don't know if they're all Sasquatches or what they are, but that company does it. And there's people, I come in here to feed the horse every night. There's somebody parked up there having pictures taken of it, you know, standing in front of it. It's really going to draw people, so it's really unique.
It's going to make the Mercer County Fairgrounds a destination stop for a lot of people that want to see bits and pieces of Ohio.
Yes, exactly. Yep, it's pretty nice.
Well, Rusty, we're getting ready to go with the first race of today. Thanks for joining us.
And thanks for coming, guys. It's like I say, it's always nice to see you guys and kick off the fair season.
Thanks, Rusty. Let's take a look at the field for this, the first race of the day. It's a trot 220 to 240 time bar. The number 1 is Cheer Him On, sired by What the Hill. The dam is Caviar for the Lady, owned by Bob Ulenake and Glenna Schmidt. Chad Williamson will drive. The number 2 is Skyway Gigi by Swan for All out of Skyway J-Lo. Julie Rideout and Pete Smucker own. Doug Rideout will be in the bike. The number 3 is Brookview Felix. Swan for All is the sire out of the mare Stonebridge Piece. Levi Schwartz will do the driving. Cheer Him On was sold for $20,000 at the Ohio Select Soul. It's the 9th foal of 10 for Caviar for the Lady, and a half-brother to count on Cody, who earned $187,000 with a mark of 153 in 2. Let's pick up the action of the first race of the day.
Move into the far turn. They're at 3/4 and 149 and 1 around the far turn. Skyway GG, Cheer Him On second. Brookview Felix is third. They arrive at the top of the stretch, and Skyway GG is off the turn with an 8-length lead over Cheer Him On way back. Brookview Felix is third with less than a 16th to trot. This is all Skyway GG and Doug Rideout.
Race 1 in the book, Susan, and it was Skyway Gigi who went to the lead and really just looked comfortable sitting out there. Final time 2:22 and 4.
Yeah, that Swan for All filly really did, like as you said, look comfortable. Cheer Him On, our lone Ohio bred in the race, finished second, made a break in the early turn, in the first turn, but then settled down and trotted nice.
Didn't take long for that first trotter to make that break.
Right.
They weren't even into the first turn, and Cheer Him On makes the little bobble there, but like you said, then got back on it. But then Brookview Felix went wide in the first in the turn coming in front of the stands the first time. He then ended up making a break as well, so at least one of them was able to stay flat.
Yeah. Fractions were 37 and 2, 113 and 3, 149 and 1, and the mile in 222 and 4, which is right in that time bar from the time bar was 220 to 240.
Well, the number 1, Cheer Him On, is owned by Bob Ulenake and Glenna Schmidt, and earlier today, Susan had a chance to catch up with Bob Ulenake.
Yeah, we're here at the Mercer County Fairgrounds for the first matinee of the year. We're just out here at Horse Barn number 1 talking to Bob Ulenake. We understand that you used to hang out here when you were a kid.
That's correct. I was probably out here in the early 70s with Gary Beckstead was a friend of mine, and his dad was Ralph Beckstead, and he had horses, and my parents actually ran around with them. And so I came out here with Gary quite a bit back in those days.
And you liked it enough that now you're back in the business. How did that come about?
Well, it took me 50 years, but we had a friend, Bruce Schmidt, who drives and owned horses for years. And Bruce and I worked together, and we always talked about it. And so one day he brought it up that maybe we could try this or something. And anyhow, eventually we did, and I enjoy it thoroughly. It's a lot of fun.
And you owning a horse that's in today?
That's correct. Yeah, he's in the first race. It's a trotter by What the Hill. So we'll see how it goes. Bruce, who does all the training, he does everything for it. He happened to be out of town today, so we have another driver for today. But Donnie, hey, you got to put Donnie in there. He takes care of everything too. He's helping us out.
And you're a local businessman here in town?
Yes, we own 4U Office Supply, and my wife and I have for 20-some years. And I just retired about 6 months ago, and now my children, I have 3 children, and they now take over and do a fine job for us.
Well, it's interesting. I heard that there was a reason that you got back into the business, that you were watching something?
That's correct. I watch your films, or whatever we want to call them, there on the fairs. And like I said, when Bruce and I worked together, and I started watching them on your program there, and I knew some people, I knew names, and so I just got interested, and that's when Bruce and I started talking more about it.
You're going to race this colt at the fairs this summer?
Well, we hope so, yeah. So today would be the first time he's been behind a gate and with other horses, but we hope that works out all right then.
Well, welcome back to the business.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Looking at the field for race 2, we have 3 more pacers this time with a 2:10 to 2:15 time bar. Susan?
The one horse is Jazzy Fast Star. It's a JK end of an era out of a mare, Velocity Fast Steer, Doug Rideout will drive. The 2, It's Time to Cody by Lost in Time out of Greystone Alone. This horse is the first registered mare, first registered foal of that mare. The mare had a mark as a 3-year-old in 55 and 2. 3 horse is Remarkably Smart, another Ohio bred by Racing Hill out of the dam Serena Stride. Ty Bates will drive. Remarkably Smart sold for $32,000 at the Ohio Selected Sale and is a full brother to Martin's Millions, who's got a mark of 51 and 3. Made $134,000.
The number 2 in this race, It's Time to Cody, is by Lost in Time, who earned $718,000 during his racing career. He took a mark of 150 and 1.
As a 2-year-old.
As a 2-year-old.
That's pretty fast for a 2-year-old at 150 and 1.
So that's the field for race number 2, a 2:10 to 2:15 pace time bar. Let's pick up the action.
They're into the far turn, 3/4, 142 and 4. Around the turn, Jazzy Fast Star's the one to catch. On the outside, Remarkably Smart. It's Time to Cody is third with an 1/8 of a mile. They're off the turn. They're on their way home. Jazzy Fast Star the leader. Remarkably Smart is second. It's Time to Cody is third. Coming to the line, Jazzy Fast Star, Doug Rideout. He takes both halves of the double.
Now, Susan, that was a horse race. All 3 of them stayed flat. Jazzy Fast Star went out for the lead, and then we had a lot of action towards the end of the race.
Yeah, and they all stayed close, so that was good for their education. And they came last half in 3, 103 for the last half, so that was great.
And it's tough for these young colts coming here, especially with the wind today. They're dealing with that. It's a new fairground, stuff they haven't seen before.
Right, and we were back in the barn area earlier. We saw a couple that were pretty excited because they've been at home with maybe 1 or 2 other horses that they know, and they come here and there's a lot of new horses.
Now let's get set for the 3rd race. The number 1 is Lavender Haze. It's a Yankee cruiser out of Dancing in Lace. Ryan Miller will do the driving.
And Lavender Haze sold for $65,000 at the Lexington Select Sale. And something interesting is the mare, Dancing in Lace, is a half-sister to the stallion now in Ohio, Dancing Yankee, who earned over $2 million.
The number 2 is Isa Man. It's a Rockin' Amadeus out of Tricky Trendy. Ty Bates will drive. Suzanne Bates and Cedar Point Beach Racing own the number 2.
Seeing Gray is the 3 horses down by the Seaside colt out of the mare Gray Major. Miller Racing and Rod Cooper own, and Ryan is down to drive, but he's down to drive 3 in this race. So
we'll see what he does, because he's also down to drive the number 4. And we're really not sure how to pronounce this one, but we're going to give it a shot. It's Hey Hey Icy Frying is what we're going to go with. It's a down by the Seaside out of the Wishes Do Come True mare. Owner is Roger Miller.
The 3 horse at Seeing Gray was sold at the Ohio Selected Sale for $60,000. The mare had 7 yearlings that sold at public auction, but the highest price one was Seeing Gray. It also is a half brother to Gratian Hanover. He's got a mark of 49 and 4.
And so about the number 4?
Was also sold at the Lexington Selected Sale for $27,000. A half brother to 2 $100,000 winners. And the second dam produced winners of over $2 million.
Let's pick up the action of the 3rd.
They're into the far turn. Hey, hey, Icy fronting by a neck. Lavender Haze on the outside. Seeing Gray third is the man fourth. 142 and 4 around the far turn. Hey, hey, Icy fronting, trying to take them all the way. Lavender Haze, Seeing Gray coming 3 wide. Down the stretch they come. 3 of them across the track. Hey, hey, Icy fronting. Lavender Haze on the grandstand side is Seeing Gray. Hey, hey, Icy fronting. Gate to wire for Clint Coy.
Another good race there, Susan. 2:13 and 3. It was a 2:08, 2:15 time bar for the Pacers. And it was Hey, hey, Icy Friday is how we're going with it, is the way Doug was pronouncing it. He knows more than we do, so that's what we're going to say was the winner. That is Ryan Miller trains it. Roger Miller owns it.
Yeah, and Clint Coy picked up the drive, and that was a great finish. They were all right there, 3 across the track. That's how you want this to happen at a match.
And we saw a lot of good racing. You know, Ryan Miller was driving the #1 Lavender Haze, the only filly in the race. Took her around early from the 4 spot to try to, you know, see what she could do with that.
Yeah. And fractions in that race were 33 and 4. 109 and 1, 142 and 4, and then 213 and 3.
Well, the wind continues to blow. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have races 4, 5, and 6 on Matinee Madness right after this.
With more than 300,000 horses in Ohio, the economic impact of the equine industry in the state is over $2.8 billion. Much of that value comes from standardbred horse owners, breeders, trainers, and drivers who participate in the sport of harness racing. The mission of the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association is to preserve, protect, promote, and serve the entire standardbred industry in Ohio and beyond. To learn more about the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association, go to ohha.com. That's ohha.com.
With over 30 years of experience in wealth planning and a lifetime of involvement in harness racing, Matt Franklin at Wire to Wire Wealth can help you build a financial plan that addresses the unique circumstances of those involved in the horse racing industry. Whether you are investing to build wealth, protect your family, or preserve your assets, Matt at Wire to Wire Wealth will work with you through the wealth planning process from start to finish.
Welcome back to the Mercer County Fairgrounds in Celina for Matinee Madness. I'm Frank Fraz along with Susan Schroeder. 3 races in the books. The next one up will be the 2:10 to 2:15 time bar trot. 3 are in this field.
The 1 horse, VK's Wee Foxy. This is a 3-year-old filly by Waring, owned by Harley Farms, and driving today by Carl Newland.
The #2 is Hilltop Ford bound. Ronnie Gillespie owns it, and he will drive this 2-year-old filly.
The 3 horse is the lone Ohio bred in the race. It's a 2-year-old filly by Full Count out of Student Example. Bruce Walls is the owner, and Ronnie is down to drive, but we'll see which one he drives.
Maybe Dalton Walls will be in the bike for that one, since I believe he trains Rookie Sensation.
The 3 horse was purchased at the Buckeye Classic for $14,000, and it's the first foal out of that Mayor Student Example.
Let's pick up the action of the 4th race.
They're on their way to the 5/8s. And Vicky's Wee Foxy continues to show the way. Rookie Sensation nose to helmet is second. Third is Hilltop Ford Bond as they head up the backside. Vicky's Wee Foxy, the leader. They're in straight alignment. Rookie Sensation right there, easing to the outside. Hilltop Ford Bond is third. And here comes Rookie Sensation to the outside to draw up alongside the leader, Vicky's Wee Foxy, as they trot into the far turn. Hilltop Ford Bond is third on the outside. Rookie Sensation 3/4, 140 and a 1/5 by a neck. Rookie Sensation, the inside. Vicky's Wee Foxy, 3 wide off the turn. Here comes Hilltop Ford Bond. 3 of them across the track. Rookie Sensation between horses. Vicky's Wee Foxy battling on the inside. Rookie Sensation and Ronnie Gillespie.
Despite making an early break, Rookie Sensation with Ronnie Gillespie able to make up an awful lot of ground and win that race in 2:11 and 2.
Yeah, the Rookie Sensation and the other Gillespie connection with the Hilltop Ford Bond, they both made breaks in the first turn, but they both came back very strong.
Now, catching up on one thing, during the break in that race, we were told the horse from the third race, it's it's Freyne is the way to pronounce that horse's name. It's one of those, when you look at it and it's all run together, it's tough to figure out what it is. But the other thing is, when we got these yesterday or Thursday, you went in and tried to find some, and there's some that we're not really sure what their names are.
Right. We could not find some of the horses, such as in this fourth race, Hilltop Ford Bond. Doesn't really exist as that in USTA, but
that's what we're calling it today.
That's what we're calling it. The fractions for the fourth race were 33-2, 107-1, 140-1, and 211-2.
Next up we have is the fifth race, and that will have 4 in it as well. 2 Ohio breds, a Catch the Fire, and a Western Vintage.
The one horse, Miss Graceland, is by the Indiana sired Captain Midnight out of the mare Grace Ann. Clint Coy will drive for owner Larry King.
The number 2 is Who Said, also owned by Larry King. Doug Rideout is going to drive. The sire is at Night Pro, an Indiana bred.
And Night Pro holds 2 track records still here in the state of Ohio, at Bowling Green and Attica. Tamales on Fire by Catch the Fire. Owner and driver is Ronnie Gillespie. This is a filly.
And the number 4 is Faithful Nation. Robert Brooks owns. He'll have Pierce Henry driving. It's a Western Vintage. Was purchased at the Buckeye Classic sale for $7,000. Its half-sister is Barley Nation, who took a mark of 151-4.
Earlier today, Frank caught up with Robert Brooks back in the barn area.
Thanks, Susan. Joined by Robert Brooks, the former mayor of Van Loo. You miss being mayor?
A little bit. There are some things I missed about it. I enjoyed helping out in the community and stuff, but I do not miss the phone calls at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning because somebody's street light is off. I don't miss that.
Well, now you're going to get phone calls from parents wondering why their daughters are not playing more for your basketball team. Congratulations. Yeah. Apparently now the head coach of the girls basketball team at Van Loo.
Yep. Just as of yesterday, I took the position head girls basketball coach. Yeah, looking forward to that. Yep.
Training a bunch of 2- and 3-year-olds, training a bunch of 16-, 17-year-old girls in basketball. How do they compare?
Well, it's a challenge every day, and that's what gets me out of bed, I guess, every morning, especially with the horses, you know. Yeah, they're never the same, it seems like, and with kids, developing young kids, it's kind of the same thing. So it's a challenge, but I enjoy it, and I look forward to it.
How many you got in today, and what do you hope to accomplish today?
So today we have 4 in, and yeah, basically I just want them to get behind the gate, get beside other horses. You know, we put all of them in 2:10 time bar, and I'm not worried about the time as long as they do it right. I mean, yeah, I don't want them to go out there and go in 2:2. I mean, I don't want that. But, yeah, just go out, have a good experience. They all ship good. They're standing here good. That's what's important to me.
How does this crop that you have today compare to crops you've had in the past?
You know, I think I got nice fair horses at this point. I don't know if I think I might have 2 of them that'll be Buckeye horses, but I don't think I have any sire stake horses this year. And that's fine for me and my owners because we don't spend a lot of money on them. And a couple of these are homebreds. And, you know, if they can go to the fairs and be competitive, we're happy.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
He's halfway home in 107 3/5, followed closely by Faithful Mason. Racing third on the inside, Miss Graceland for outside Bell, Who Said. Down the backside they go to the 3/4. The leader, Tamala's on Fire, by now only a length. Faithful Mason right there is second. Miss Graceland third. Bell, Who Said trails the field fourth. The near 3/4. It is Tamala's on Fire with the lead. Faithful Mason is second. Third, Bell, Who Said. Miss Graceland on the outside. They're at 3/4, 139. They're into the far turn, and the leader is Tamala's on Fire by a length. Faithful Mason Mason is second. Miss Graceland is third. Belle Husset is fourth. Down the stretch they come. Tamala's on fire. Ronnie Gillespie, Faithful Mason on the outside. Too little, too late. It's Tamala's on fire. Ronnie Gillespie second of the day.
Race 5, the 2:10 to 2:15 pace is in the books, and it was number 3, Tamales on Fire, owned, trained, and driven by Ronnie Gillespie. The sire Catch the Fire.
Finishing second was Faithful Nation, third Miss Graceland, and 4 Vel Who Said. Fractions were 34 and 4, 107 and 3, 139, and 28 and 2, meaning that Catch the Fire filly came home in 29 and 3.
We're starting to see a lot of these horses really come home in quick times, aren't we?
Yes, yep. They're you can watch them when they come around that turn. This little Tamales on Fire, she was just leaned right into the turn.
So that is race number 5. Race number 6 is a 2:10 to 2:15 pace on the time bar, and this is our race with all Indiana breds. The number 1 is Vel I'm a Pro. Larry King owns. Doug Rideout will drive. The sire is Night Pro.
The 2 Vel Drinks on Tina. This is by sire Let's Drink on It out of Pam's Preference, also owned by Larry King. Driver will be Marlon Shetler.
The number 3 is Midnight Marla by Captain Midnight. The dam is Lady from Mars, a 2-year-old filly owned by Ferran Parr. Michael Wickie will do the driving.
And Clint Coy picks up the drive on the 4 Vel Flip the Cup. This is a Let's Drink on It out of Flip Flop Summer, Larry King owns.
Let's pick up the action of race number 6.
They're at 3/4, 138 and 1. Around the far turn, Vel Drinks on Tina has the lead. On the outside, Vel Flip the Cup is second. Racing third, Midnight Marla. Vel I'm a Pro. Down the stretch they come. Vel Drinks on Tina. Vel Flip the Cup coming after that leader. On the line, it will be Vel Drinks on Tina. Vel Flip the Cup second.
Well, Susan, it was a 2:10 to 2:15 time bar, but they went a little bit quicker there, coming home in 2:07 and 3 for the winner, number 2, Vel Drinks on Tina.
Yep, Marlon Shetler drove. This is a Let's Drink on It filly. Finishing second, Vel Flip the Cup. Third, Vel I'm a Pro. And fourth, Midnight Marla. Fractions.
Go ahead.
Fractions were 33 and 2, 105 and 4, 138 and 1 mile in 2:7 and 3. So another good last quarter in 29 and 2.
So that was race number 6. We'll take a break, and when we come back, race number 7 from the Mercer County Fairgrounds in Celina, Ohio.
At Ohio State's Galbraith Equine Center, our veterinary champions are here for your champions 24/7, 365 days a year. Our expert team of boarded surgeons, sports medicine and rehabilitation specialists, together with veterinary cardiologists, internal medicine and ophthalmologists, make our hospital your best resource for all sport horse performance issues. The Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center's Galbraith Equine Hospital. Call us today at 614-292-6661.
Hi, I'm Dean Gillespie, and I want to tell you about the Ohio Colt Racing Association. There's 19 member fairs, and they sponsor the Partial Futurity in Greenville, Ohio. You need to race in the OCRA. Great racetracks, great people. Bring the kids and come out to the fair, and remember, fair time is fun time.
Welcome back. This is race number 7 coming up, a 2:20 to 2:30 pace. What? Where'd Frank? Where'd Frank go?
You caught me. It's the beginning of the season, the fair season's starting. Just like these 2- and 3-year-olds are on the track for the first time, I've got to get in training too for my fair food reports. So I'm at the Mercer County Horsemen's stand, and I've been told best sloppy Joe on the fair circuit, so we're going to find out for sure here.
I need a chicken and a strawberry pie.
You know it's good when they give you a fork to pick up what falls from there. And when I'm done with this, they've got 8, 9, 10 different flavors of pie. So, Susan, I may not make it back up there for a little while. Good luck.
Okay, now we know where Frank went. The race number 7, Night Divides the Day from the Rail. This is a Captain Midnight, an Indiana bred out of Keystone Diamond. Mike Albright is the owner and Ronnie Gillespie to drive. The 2, Rose Run Andy. This is a well-said colt out of Capricious. Bet the Chalk Racing, Tyler Cook, Amber Lockhart, and Jerry Brandenburg are the owners, and Clint Coy will drive. The 3, Velma, I'm a Tough Cookie. Sire is Keystone Velocity. Owner, First Star Stable, Jerry Schwartz up. The 2, Rose Run Andy, the lone Ohio bred in the race, was sold at the Blooded Horse Sale for $8,000 and is a half-brother to Rose Run Yvette, who's got a mark of 54-2 as a 3-year-old. Let's pick up the action for race number 7.
Midpoint of the backside. Night Divides the Day by a length. Rose Run Andy on the outside. Vel, I'm a Tough Cookie. They buy 3/4 or into the far turn. Night Divides the Day has them by 3/4 and 143-4 around the far turn. They have an 1/8 of a mile to go. Night Divides the Day opens up with each and every stride as Rose Run Andy and Vel, I'm a Tough Cookie are off stride through the lane. Night Divides the Day will give Ron Gillespie his 3rd on the day.
That was a pretty good sloppy Joe, just so you know. You may have to get one before. Maybe you can sneak out and get yours. But race 7 in the books. Night Divides the Day. The Captain Midnight Indiana sired 2-year-old filly comes home first with Ronnie Gillespie, who wins his 3rd. Second was Vel, I'm a Tough Cookie. And number 3, Rose Run Andy, which you pointed out something in that race. Free-legged.
Free-legged, kind of unusual for a 2-year-old. Especially to be free-legged out there, and raced very, very well until the last turn, and then went off stride.
And then we saw as he came back past the finish line, was trotting as well. So,
and I said, I'm sure I saw that horse pacing before.
So that is race number 7.
So the fractions for that.
Yep, go ahead.
35-2, 110-2, 143-4, and mile 214-1.
Which was way in front of that 220 time bar that they had set for that race. So number 8 coming up is also a pace at 215 to 220 time bar, and we will have 4 in this race as well. If you had the early program, they move some horses around. The number 4, Our Honor Defend, ends up going to the 9th race, and they bring Whiskey Hill from the 9th into this, the 5th race. So Susan, why don't you run them down for us?
So the 1 horse, Diva's Lucky Girl. This is an Indiana bred, but he's all that out of Laughter's Diva. Hartley Farm owns, and Michael Wicke the driver. The 2, Murphy. This is a What the Hill filly out of a mare called Foxy Blue. Sold at the Buckeye Classic sale for $7,500. Sean McGee is the owner, and Ty Bates will drive. Valley Star, another Indiana bred, Luck Be With You, and out of the mare Candy's a Queen. Tyler Cook and Everett Crow are the owners, and Clint Coy will drive. And the 4, Whiskey Hill, who is a racing hill out of Connie's Desire. Robert Brooks owns, and Pierce Henry will drive.
So that's a look at the field for this, the 8th, at 215 to 220 pace with that time bar. Let's pick up the action for race number 8.
To the 5/8 they go. Murphy has the lead and has it by a length. Diva's Lucky Star. 3 wide. Here comes Whiskey Hill. Pierce Henry on the outside. From 4th to 3rd to 2nd. Whiskey Hill on the outside. Right to the front end. Whiskey Hill, the Bay filly by Racing Hill. Charges to the front end. Murphy gives way 2nd. Racing 3rd. Diva's Lucky Star. Valley Star trails. They're into the far turn. Issen's all Whiskey Hill. Opening up with each and every stride. Murphy is 2nd. 144-1. They're off the turn. They're on their way home. Whiskey Hill has the lead. Racing 2nd is Murphy with an 1/8 of a mile to come. Whiskey Hill. Murphy comes to the outside. Whiskey Hill. Murphy on the outside. Coming to the line. Pierce Henry and Whiskey Hill to take the 8th.
The 8th race is in the book, and it was Whiskey Hill, Susan.
Whiskey Hill made a huge 3-wide move coming out of that 3rd turn and just opened up, looked really, really sharp. Finishing 2nd was Murphy. That is another What the Hill. and Ty Bates. Third was Diva's Lucky Girl and Micah Wicke. And fourth, Valley Star with Clint Coy. Fractions were 34 and 3, 111 and 2, 144 and 1, 213 and 2.
Race 9 will be a 2:10 to 2:15 time bar for the pace. We have 4 in this race. The number 1 is Sweden Cove, a 2-year-old filly by the Ponderosa out of the Dam Narraport, owned by Rebecca Nicholson and Curtis Shoup. Pierce Henry will do the driving.
The 2, Vel Shooter on Flight. This is a straight shooter filly out of Pacific Light to Nova. Larry King owns and Clint Coy will drive.
Here's where we get to some of the movement now. The number 3 horse in this race was supposed to be Whiskey Hill, but that was moved back into the 8th. So we have Delightful Era moving up into this race from the 14th. It is sired by J.K. End of an Era. Owner is Julie Rideout, Chris Gilbert, and W. Hart, and Doug Rideout will do the driving.
And the 4 moves over from another race, a horse called Our Honor Defend. This is a Lost in Time out of Dancing on My Own. Ty Bates will drive.
So that is the field for the 9th. Let's pick up the action.
138 and 3 around the far turn. They're stride for stride. Our Honor Defend and Sweden Cove. They come to the top of the stretch, racing as a team. Our Honor Defend on the inside. On the grandstand side is Sweden Cove. It is Sweden Cove on the outside to Kip Pierce Henry, his second winner of the day.
The number 1, Sweden Cove, looked like an old veteran coming down the stretch. Pierce Henry driving for Robert Brooks, owned by Rebecca Nicholson and Curtis Shoup, and really looked good coming down the stretch, didn't he?
Looked very good. Made a big move and just kept on going. Last half in 59 and 2, so very good. Finishing second, Delightful Era, Doug Rideout up. Third was Our Honor Defend with Ty Bates, and fourth was Vel Shooter on Flight, Clint Coy. Fractions 33 and 4, 107 and 3, 138 and 3, and 27 and 1. And again, that's at last half in 59 and 2.
Well, that's race 9 in the book. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we will have race number 10 here on Matinee Madness.
Racing is back at Eldorado Scioto Downs. Catch the excitement all summer long. Live racing every Tuesday through Saturday nights. First race post time is 5:45. Mark your calendar to see the future stars with a $150,000 Next Generation July 6th. Thrilling harness racing at Eldorado Scioto Downs. One track, 90 racing days, 100% action. Horse players can earn points with the new Caesars Reward Program. Eldorado Scioto Downs. Racing returns May 9th.
With over 30 years of experience in wealth planning and a lifetime of involvement in harness racing, Matt Franklin at Wire to Wire Wealth can help you build a financial plan that addresses the unique circumstances of those involved in the horse racing industry. Whether you are investing to build wealth, protect your family, or preserve your assets, Matt at Wire to Wire Wealth will work with you through the wealth planning process from start to finish.
Welcome back to the Mercer County Fairgrounds here in Celina, Ohio, as we get set for race number 10 on Matinee Madness. A windy and chilly day today. The sun is out, though. When you're in the sun, it's not too bad, but that wind is brutal, and I mean, it must be tough. I mean, they're getting a boost coming down the stretch, but these young horses are going into a very big wind up the backstretch.
Right. They're not the only ones having trouble. Our shooter, Matt, is having trouble just keeping the camera straight.
We're not sure if it's that or him shaking from the cold, but it is a bit chilly. We're at race number 10 here is a 2:10 to 2:15 time bar. These pacers, that we will have 4 of them. The number 1 is Vel Life is Good. Rock and Roll Heaven is the sire, in Indiana bred, owned by Larry King. Doug Rideout will drive.
Heidi Virgin has a 2-hole. These are all 3-year-old fillies in this race, and Heidi Virgin is an Always the Virgin, owned by First Star Stable, Jerry Schwartz up.
The number 3 is David's Sweetie, owned by Hartley Farms. It's a homebred, sired by a bit of a legend N out of the Dam Sweetie Sue Cam, and Carl Newland will do the driving.
And the 4 spot is Vel Let's Rock and Roll. Sire Rock and Roll Heaven out of Brooklyn's Best, Larry King owns, and Clint Coy will drive.
Let's pick up the action of race number 10.
They're into the far turn. Bell Life is Good, trying to take them all the way. 3/4, 138 and 1. Round the far turn, the leader's off stride. Bell Life is Good jumps it off. Bell Let's Rock and Roll on the outside. Heidi Virgin is second. Down the stretch a pace. Bell Let's Rock and Roll.
As the afternoon has gone on, Susan, they seem to be getting faster and forgetting about the time bar. 2:07 and 1. It was a 2:10 time bar. Final quarter 29.
Yeah, it was a nice mile. Bell Life is Good. Cut the mile and looked like that was going to be a winner, but then coming around last turn made a break. And Bell's Let's Rock and Roll and Clint Coy came up to get the win.
Second was Heidi's Virgin. Vel's Life is Good was third, and David's Sweetie rounded out the field of 4. The fractions:
32 and 1, 105, 138 and 1, and 27 and 1. Again, last quarter 29 seconds flat.
Race 11, another 2:05 to 2:10 time bar. Again, these are all pacers, and we have a couple of older horses in this one as well. The number 1 is Straight Razor, a 3-year-old colt by Lather Up out of Western Charmer. Bob Geist owns. Tide Bates will drive, and foals. This is the 13th foal out of Western Charmer, and they have earned over $1.2 million.
Nice horse. Bob Geist, the owner and trainer, was a long-time superintendent of speed here at the Mercer County Fair. The 220, this is a Czech 6, an Indiana bred out of the mare Zinderella. Vernon Gales is the owner, and Justin Belanger will be driving.
The number 3 is Willie the Colt, a 5-year-old gelding by We Will See out of Amazing Susie, owned and driven today by Brad Schaefer.
And Willie the Colt is a half-brother to one that's in the 15th, so we've got a couple of siblings racing here.
I think Willie the Colt gets the nice name of the day because it's just so simple. It's Willie the Colt, but it really should be Willie the Gelding. But let's pick up the action of race number 11.
It is all 220. Straight Razor second. Third, Willie the Colt. 136 and 2 for 3/4 and 220. Opens up by 15, 18, 20 lengths. Straight Razor second, Willie the Colt third. Down the stretch they come. This is all 220. A little faster than 220, I believe.
220 went a lot faster than 220, finishing that race in 2:05 and 4 inside the time barn. But right now, 220 looks like he's ready for the racetrack.
You know, he looked like he was getting a little bit lazy on top here at the half, and Justin Belanger said, no, Colt, you got to go. And he did, come last half in a minute.
I mean, won by 25 lengths at least over second place, Straight Razor, and third, Willie the Colt. Great name, Willie the Colt. But as we head now to the 12th race, there's a horse in this race named Bourbon on the Rocks that Tim Ignarski is the trainer of.
Yeah, Bourbon on the Rocks is a better name than Willie the Colt. Sorry.
So earlier today, Susan had a chance to catch up with Tim Ignarski.
Back in the barn here with Tim Ignarski. He's got one horse in today, but he looks like a really nice colt.
Yeah, Susan, he's a pet rock we bought out of the sale in Springfield, and to be honest with you, we think he's probably the nicest horse we've had for Dark Horse Syndicate, and I can honestly say I think he's the best horse I've had in 34 years. I mean, at this point, most of us think our 2-year-olds are pretty good, but this guy's pretty special, and that's why we brought him over here, to try to get acclimated and see what, kind of learning experience.
As you train over at Wapakoneta, and are you kind of alone there?
Yeah, like we alluded to, there's 3 horses. We have 3 horses over there, and there's another guy that ships in. But at the same point, there's only 3 of us that are training, and then I have another 2-year-old, and this 2-year-old is so far advanced from the other one, he normally trains alone. So that's what today, bringing him over here today is for the experience and looking at the tractors and the people and getting off on the different fairgrounds.
And tell us a little bit about the Dark Horse Fractional Ownership.
It's a partnership we started about 6 or 7 years ago with a number of people that I've known for a long time. One had always wanted to buy a horse, and they thought, oh, it's too expensive. It's too expensive. I can't afford this. I can't afford this. Well, ultimately, we designed the partnership so that, I mean, we can make it affordable. I mean, there's, on this colt here, I believe there's 10 owners. Anywhere from, I own 56% of him, all the way down to there's a couple of them that have one share in them. So we try to make it affordable. And I guess the biggest part is when we started it is I wanted to share the love of the sport with as many people as I could. And again, they'll allude to the fact is we've made it affordable to them, and then hopefully, you know, again, they can come out and watch their athlete. So
that's just, it's such a great concept. And looking at this horse up, he's out of kind of a nice mare. She's got a mark of 51-4, made over $358,000. Is that what drew you to her? Yeah. Was the mare?
That, the fact is, you know, in our younger days, we used to like the aggressive ones, right? So we used to go to the sale, and unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of money to spend, so we had to look at for the athletic part about it. And we went and looked at him, and he basically fit the part. And I'll be honest with you, every day that we've had him, he has been athletic and everything else like that. So again, we're real excited about him. And again, being the first foal out of that particular dam, we were lucky to get him.
Well, we'll be looking forward to watching Bourbon on the Rocks with all of those owners, so good luck to the Dark Horse Syndicate.
Susan, usually horsemen are a little superstitious. Tim was not.
Right. He let us know just exactly what he thought about his colt, and kind of nice. He's excited. Like he said, it makes it easy to go to the barn in the morning.
And he was wound up in the barn. That colt was raring to go. He wanted to be out there.
Absolutely.
So the 12th will have 4, including Bourbon on the Rocks. The number 1 is Vel Mr. Captain. Larry King owns. Lucas Shelter will drive. Sired by Captain Midnight, a 2-year-old colt out of the dam Dilly Doll.
JB Magic has the 2-hole. He's a Fear the Dragon out of Type A Gray. She herself had a mark of 53-1 as a 3-year-old. And Bob Geist bought this colt out of the Blooded Horse sale for $12,000, and it's a full brother to Type A Personality, who we've heard of lately. That's got a 3-year-old mark of 52-3. Ty Bates will drive Mr. Geist's horse.
The number 3 is Vel Robert. Larry King also owns this 2-year-old colt. Clint Coy will get the drive.
And the Pet Rock colt, Bourbon on the Rocks, out of A Little Starstruck, owned by the Dark Horse Syndicate. Pierce Henry will drive. This was a Buckeye Classic sale, for $19,000. The mare herself has a 6-year-old mark of 51-4 and made $358,000.
Let's pick up the action of race number 12.
134 1/5 around the far turn, and the leader is JB Magic. Here comes on the outside Vel Robert, and after the leader, JB Magic, Vel Robert, Vel Mr. Captain. Through the lane they come. This one belongs to JB Magic and Ty Bates.
They blew away another time bar, finishing this race in 2:03-2, final quarter in 29-1 for JB Magic.
Yeah, JB Magic, that Fear the Dragon colt out of Type A Gray, winning it. That's a big mile this early in the season, 2-3-2.
Second was Vel Robert. Third, Vel Mr. Captain. And fourth, Bourbon on the Rocks. Might have to go back to the bottle.
Yeah, it got a little rough. I think he had quite an exciting day, so just got a little rough. I'm sure he'll be all right.
In the words of Matt Clark, a little fumbly.
Fumbly.
There you go. So we'll take a break, and when we come back, we will have race 13 on our card from the Mercer County Fairgrounds in Celina, Ohio.
Racing is back at El Dorado Scioto Downs. Catch the excitement all summer long. Live racing every Tuesday through Saturday nights. First race post time is 5:45. Mark your calendar to see the future stars with a $150,000 Next Generation July 6th. Thrilling harness racing at El Dorado Scioto Downs. One track, 90 racing days, 100% action. Horse players can earn points with the new Caesars Reward Program. El Dorado Scioto Downs. Racing returns May 9th.
At Ohio State's Galbraith Equine Center, our veterinary champions are here for your champions 24/7, 365 days a year. Our expert team of boarded surgeons, sports medicine and rehabilitation specialists, together with veterinary cardiologists, internal medicine and ophthalmologists, make our hospital your best resource for all sport horse performance issues. The Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center's Galbraith Equine Hospital. Call us today at 614-292-6661.
Welcome back to the Mercer County Fairgrounds in Celina for Matinee Madness as we get set for race 13 on our card. 3 horses in this race. It's a pace 210 to 215 time bar, and we have 3 2-year-old fillies. The number 1 is Ma Honey, a well-said out of the dam Mary Celeste, owned by Sean McGee. Ty Bates will drive. This was a $12,000 purchase at the Buckeye Classic sale.
Million a Paycheck by Lather Up has the 2-hole. Melanie Charquette is the mare. Owner is Phil Tilt Farm. Steve Livingston will drive. This was a Buckeye Classic sale, $8,000. And the mare herself, Melanie Charquette, a 5-year-old mark of 151-1, made $292,000.
The number 3 is Raindrops on Rose, an Indiana bred by Rockin' Image. Doug Rideout will drive for owner Sheila Parcher. Let's pick up the action of race number 13.
They're into the far turn, and Ma Honey will guide them into that far turn, opening up now by 3. Million on a Paycheck. Raindrops on Rose, 140 and a 5th. They're at the top of the stretch, and Ma Honey's looking to take them all the way. Million on a Paycheck on the outside. Raindrops on Rose is 3rd. They're inside the final 16th. Ma Honey, Million on a Paycheck. Ma Honey, Ty Bates, 2nd of the day.
Okay, results of race number 13. Ma Honey was your winner. Ma Honey is a 2-year-old filly by Well Said out of Mary Celeste. Ty Bates drove. Million a Paycheck finished 2nd with Pierce Henry up, and Raindrops and Rose was 3rd with Doug Rideout. Fractions were 32-3, 107-2, 140-1, and 29-2. Earlier today, Frank Frost caught up with 2 veterans of the fair circuit, Doug Ballinger and Brad Conrad.
Joined now by a couple of county fair veterans, Doug Ballinger, announcer, photographer Brad Conrad. And first off, Doug, 53rd Celina Matinee, you've been here for all of them.
53rd, yes. I think I was 16, 17 years old and sophomore in high school when they started this matinee.
Is this a warm-up time for you as you get ready for the summer? You really haven't done much during the winter except work on your tan while you're in Florida.
Yeah, wasn't much of a tan this year. It was a bad winter in Florida, but better in Ohio. But it's great to be back in Ohio. Yeah, it's kind of a warm-up time. Actually, I feel my voice is pretty good today. I've only went through 2 cough drops. Usually, maybe, I think the last few years I've been back a time or so to fill in for Barry at Miami Valley. But yeah, today's the first.
How difficult is it doing these matinees? You only have 3 horses. You got a lot of time to fill. You got driver changes. You got names you're really not sure of. How tough are these matinees?
Yeah, they're tough. You know, an announcer would rather have an 8-horse field any day as a 3-horse field. So you got to throw some filler in there, you know, who it's by, Racing Hill, whoever, things like that.
Well, it's tough on the announcers, but it's not hard on the photographer. Right now, you are in mid-season form, Brad.
Well, you know, with the racing schedule we have here in Ohio, it's hard to get out of form because we always got racing somewhere.
You know, but you work all 3 of the southern circuits. You work, how many fairs are you shooting at now?
I think we're up to about 26, 27, something like that.
When do you have time for Brad Conrad, and what do you do when you're not around these fairs?
There's not a whole lot of time, but yeah, when I'm not around the fairs, it's kind of just sitting around on the couch and trying to relax, but I have a hard time doing that.
Now, you weren't here for the first 53 of when these things started way back then, but, you know, nowadays, your job's a heck of a lot easier with cameras like this than it would have been back in those old days.
A lot easier. It makes it a lot better to get the great pictures and just to even do the post-processing work is so much easier now.
What makes a great picture?
A beautiful sunny day like this. Sunshine always makes a great picture, and then just having the horse all stretched out, all 4 feet off the ground, looking good.
Well, that's 2 of the veterans here on the Ohio Fair Circuit. Let's send it back to Susan.
14th race coming up. This is a 2-5 to 2-10 trot. The 1-horse Grover Hill. This is a 3-year-old gelding by What the Hill out of the mare Hurricane Hazel. Sean McGee is the owner, and Ty Bates will drive. This horse had 14 starts last year as a 2-year-old, made $34,000, got a mark of 2, 3, and 2 as a 2-year-old. My Guy Wraps It Up has a 2-hole for owner Helen Gowron and driver Ted Gowron. This is a 5-year-old gelding by My MVT out of the mare Modern Romance. This horse has had 63 lifetime starts, 12 wins, 5 seconds, and 12 thirds. Has a mark as a 4-year-old of 55-1. Number 3 is Westing Jet, driven by Ronnie Gillespie. This is a 3-year-old colt. And the 4, Tom Creek, a 3-year-old gelding by Long Tom out of Pretty Sydney Ridge, and Doug Rideout will drive. Let's go to the track.
They're at the top of the stretch. Westing Jet the inside, Tom Creek the outside. They're off the turn, they're on their way home. Tom Creek and Westing Jet going at it, heads apart, coming to the line. Tom Creek, Westing Jet, Tom Creek on the outside. Tom Creek over Westing Jet.
If anybody would know if that was a record or not, it would be Doug Ballinger, who's been here for all 53 of the Celina Matinee. So we're going to go with what Doug says, and a record for Tom Creek, the Long Tom, 2 minutes and 4/5, and it looks like he's ready to roll.
Absolutely. Just kind of sat behind Ronnie Gillespie and Westing Jet for a while, but boy, when he pulled out, they battled down the stretch, but he came out on top.
29-2 final quarter. Again, these horses are flying. Now, they do have a win behind them coming down the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. So Tom Creek and Doug Rideout, your winner. Westing Jet and Ronnie Gillespie finished second. Grover Hill and Ty Bates were third. Fractions 29-3, 1 minute and 1, 131-2, and 2 minutes and 4/5.
14 races in the book, 2 more to go. We'll be back with those 2 right after this.
With over 30 years of experience in wealth planning and a lifetime of involvement in harness racing, Matt Franklin at Wire to Wire Wealth can help you build a financial plan that addresses the unique circumstances of those involved in the horse racing industry. Whether you are investing to build wealth, protect your family, or preserve your assets, Matt at Wire to Wire Wealth will work with you through the wealth planning process from start to finish.
At Ohio State's Galbraith Equine Center, our veterinary champions are here for your champions 24/7, 365 days a year. Our expert team of boarded surgeons, sports medicine and rehabilitation specialists, together with veterinary cardiologists, internal medicine, and ophthalmologists, make our hospital your best resource for all sport horse performance issues. The Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center's Galbraith Equine Hospital. Call us today at 614-292-6661.
Welcome back to the Mercer County Fairgrounds and the Celina Matinee today as we kick off Ohio County Fair Racing. And next weekend we have 2 matinees. On Saturday we are at the Darke County Fair, and then on Sunday it's down to the Fayette County Fair. And earlier today Susan had a chance to talk to Tyler Cook about their matinee coming up at Greenville.
We're here with Tyler Cook, who is president of the Darke County Horsemen's Association, and I think you're going to do all this again next week.
Yeah, our matinee is next Saturday. It starts at 12 noon. We'll be taking entries on Wednesday from 3 to 6 p.m. You can call the number that's in the Huff's Guide to the speed office, and it's also on the USTA. We will post all of our entries on the USTA as well. We're trying something a little different this year. We've got a little raffle going on. We can win 3 prizes. It's 1 ticket for $10. They'll be selling at the matinee halfway through the card, and we'll draw. And then we have a meat place or processing place in Greenville or New Madison area that's going to come in and cook a bunch of food for us. So we're trying something different this year, so it should be a lot of fun.
And what are those prizes? Are you allowed to say?
I can probably say a couple. One is a gift card package. It's got 5 or 6 different gift cards in it. I don't know off the top of my head, I forget what they are. And then Kettering's Meats, who's cooking, has also donated a meat package of quite a different variety of meats. And then the third one, I guess you'll just have to find out after you buy a ticket.
Mystery package. Yes. All right. So next Saturday at noon, but entries are again?
Wednesday from 3 to 6 p.m. and you can call the speed office phone just like you call when you enter at the fair. We'll have that phone set up and we'll be taking entries that way.
Great. Looking forward to being there.
Thank you.
Ready for the 15th race here today at the Celina Matinee. This is a pace, a 2:05 to 2:10 time bar. 3 to go behind the gate. The number 1 is Rockin' Brook. Mandy Jones will drive. She also owns this 3-year-old filly by check 6 out of the mare Rock Groupie.
Jet Streamer has a 2-hole. This is a JK end of an era, so an Indiana bred out of Section Line Frisky. Levi Schwartz owns, and Levi will also drive.
We're familiar with that Section Line name, aren't we?
We are.
And the number 3 is Blazing Elvin. This is a 3-year-old gelding by Yankee Cruiser out of Amazing Susie. Brad Schaefer owns and drives. And Amazing Susie, her only 2 foals in action today. So let's pick up the action of the 15th.
To the top of the stretch, Rockin' Brook, Blazing Elvin. Down the stretch they come, Rockin' Brook and Mandy Jones. Blazing.
Your winner was Rockin' Brook. Mandy Jones drives and owns the 3-year-old filly. The winning time 2:04.4. Second place went to Blazing Elvin, the Yankee Cruiser. Brad Schaefer owning and driving, and the number 3 Jet Streamer did not finish the race, pulled up. So just a 2 horses finish, but 2:04.4 in the final time of a 2:05 time bar. So pretty close.
Pretty close. Fractions 31-4. 103-2, 134-3, and 24-4.
So that brings us to the last race on the card in just a 2-horse field for a 2:20 to 2:30 time bar on the pace. The number 1 is Rocking Treats, a rockin' image, a Indiana bred out of San Francisco Treats, owned by the First Star Stable. Waiting to find out who will be driving that, or Jerry Schwartz is going to be driving the number 1 Rocking Treats.
The 2 horses a scratch, and the 3 Bach. It's a 2-year-old colt by Racing Hill out of the mare Paid in Cash. Jody Flummersfield, Mike Albright, and David Gamble all own this horse. Ronnie Gillespie's going to drive. I was in the racing office when Jody came in to pay her entry fee, and she said that this colt's barn name is Radar. So those of you who know that MASH segment where Radar would go, Bach. So that's what that colt's name is.
Radar was trying to impress one of the nurses there.
Yep.
Bach. So let's pick up the action for race number 16.
They come to the top of the stretch. Bach. Rocking Treats on the outside. It is Bach. Rocking Treats is on the outside. Bach jumps it off. Rocking Treats on the outside will inherit the lead. It is Rocking Treats.
It was all Bach until the final stretch, and then went off stride, and that allowed Rocking Treats to cruise down the lane and pick up the victory in our final race of the day.
Rocking Treats is a rockin' image driven by Jerry Schwartz. Fractions were 35-2, 110-1, 143-2, and 212-4.
So that'll wrap it up for our first Matinee Madness. The first of 5 that we have scheduled this year will be out next week at the Darke County Fair in Greenville, as well as the Fayette County Fair will be down in Washington Courthouse for their matinee as well. We want to thank the Mercer County Horsemen's Association and Rusty Voorhees for everything today. Please join us next week for Matinee Madness. For Matt Clark, Susan Schroeder, I'm Frank Froz saying so long today from the Mercer County Fairground in Celina, and we hope to see you at a fair this summer.
Racing is back at El Dorado Scioto Downs. Catch the excitement all summer long. Live racing every Tuesday through Saturday nights. First race post time is 5:45. Mark your calendar to see the future stars with the $150,000 Next Generation July 6th. Thrilling harness racing at El Dorado Scioto Downs. One track, 90 racing days, 100% action. Horse players can earn points with the new Caesars Reward Program. El Dorado Scioto Downs. Racing returns May 9th.
With more than 300,000 horses in Ohio, the economic impact of the equine industry in the state is over $2.8 billion. Much of that value comes from standardbred horse owners, breeders, trainers, and drivers who participate in the sport of harness racing. The mission of the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association is to preserve, protect, promote, and serve the entire standardbred industry in Ohio and beyond. To learn more about the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association, go to ohha.com. That's ohha.com.
This has been Matinee Madness. Matinee Madness is presented by the Ohio State University Veterinary Medical Center, Eldorado Scioto Downs, and Wire to Wire Wealth. Matinee Madness is a presentation of the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association.